Take this, the world doesn't reward good people, it rewards competent people. You can be kind, honest, hardworking, and still get ignored, replaced, or even left behind. Why? Because if it is time for you to deliver, if it is time for you to get a job done, and you are not able to do that, you are useless. You are going to be ignored. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are as a person. Here is the problem with how most young people in Africa has been raised to think. We have been sold a story, and the story goes like this: be a good person, work hard, pray, be patient, and wait for your time, and eventually life will reward you. Good things come to those who wait. So exercise patience. Wait for your turn. I am not here to insult anybody's faith or anybody's patience. But I need you to understand something clearly. Hope is not a strategy, lack is not a skill, and patience without competence is just slow suffering. You can hope for the job interview to go well, but if you haven't prepared to answer the questions that are going to be asked in that room, hope is not going to save you in that room. You can pray for business growth, but if you don't understand marketing, if you have no idea about sales, if you don't understand your customer, prayer will not close a deal. Prayer will not make you a seal. This is not being harsh for the sake of being harsh. This is me trying to save you years of your life. Because I've watched young people with my eyes, good people, smart people, people with big hearts, stay stuck for years. Not because they were unlucky, not because life hated them, but because they never sat down and asked themselves, what can I actually do? What am I actually good at? What skills do I really have that someone is willing to pay for? And if you also ask yourself this question and the answer is nothing, that is the problem. That is the whole problem there. I want you to take this scenario into consideration. In a fight, there are only two things involved at that moment: your skills and sometimes size and strength. Nothing else. Not who is right, not who is a better person outside the fight, not who prayed more in the morning, not who has more followers on Instagram. None of these things works in the fight with you. Now, let's take this same logic and apply it to our own life. Life is throwing fight at us every single day. Just that they don't look like fight. They look like a job interview where three other candidates are more prepared than you. A business where your competitors understand meta advertisements more than you do. A negotiation where the other end knows exactly what they are doing and you are guessing. A relationship conflict that could just end with conversation, but you lack communication skills. An opportunity that falls on your lap, but you are not ready, so it slips back out. In every single one of these situations that I've just listed, you being a good person, a deserving person, well-meaning person doesn't automatically win you this round. Competence win the round. And here is the part that stings the most. The universe does not do a background check on your character before it decides who wins. It doesn't ask, is this person really deserving the win? The question the universe asks is, who is more prepared? Who is more skilled? Who actually knows what they are doing? That person wins every single time. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are as a human being. And that is not cruelty. That is how competence works. It is very blind to your intentions. It only responds to your capability. I really want you to pay attention to this part because it is where a lot of young people get stuck emotionally. Competence does not care that you had a hard childhood. Competence doesn't give a fuck about whether people believe in you or not. Neither does it give a fuck about whether you had the same opportunity as other people or not. It doesn't really care whether you're a good person, whether you go to church every Sunday, whether you never do anybody wrong. I am not saying all of these things doesn't matter in life. They matter for you as a human being. But when it's time for you to deliver, when it's time for you to perform, when it's time for you to actually get the job done, none of this shows up to help you. Only your skills show up. But this is actually a good news if you flip it the right way. Because it means that the world isn't secretly rigged against you based on where you were born, or which family you came from, or the amount of money you started with. If competence truly matters, and it is, then competence is a door that's absolutely open to anybody who is ready to build it. You don't need a permission to become skilled, do you? You don't need a connection to learn any skill at all. You don't need luck to practice something until you're good at it. All you need is time, focus, and the decision to actually do it. This is the empowering part of the whole message. Competence is not something you're born with. It is something you build brick by brick, skill by skill, rep by rep. Let me actually show you what competence look like. A competent person can solve problems under pressure because they are already having the skills. They are doing it unconsciously. They doesn't panic when things go wrong. They deliver, they get the work done even when they don't feel like it. They never rely on motivation. They rely on system and skills. And that is why they win consistently. Not because they are lucky, but because they are prepared. You don't need 100 skills. You need a few high income, high impact skills. Skills like communication. Can you clearly express your ideas? Skills like sales. Can you persuade and close? Skills like marketing. Can you get attention and turn it into income? Another skill is problem solving. Can you think clearly when things go wrong? Discipline. Can you do what needs to be done without excuses? When you master these 5 skills, you become hard to ignore. So pick one skill, learn the basics, repeat daily even when it is boring, get feedback, repeat until it is automatic. That is competence. Let me bring it back to where we started. It doesn't matter who started the fight. It doesn't matter who is the right person there. If you don't know how to fight, you are going to get beaten. In the ring, in business, in career, and in life. Stop waiting on luck. Stop wishing things will work out. Stop believing that being a good person is enough to guarantee you a good income. It's not. And it never was. I want you to go build a skill so real, so sharp, so undeniable that when the moment comes, when the opportunity shows up, when the pressure hits, when it's time for you to actually deliver, nothing can stop you. Because at the end of the day, competence doesn't ask you where you are coming from. It only asks you one question: can you deliver? And I want you to make your answer yes, I can deliver.